everybody, welcome back to my channel. Good morning, vlogsters. It's been such a long time since we talked. You got your coffee? This is what I need to do. I need to wake up, grab that first sip. Hot Mess Express. I wanted to leave it that way, and I'll tell you why in a second. So good morning. Pose with a cheesy thumbnail. First, let me get my headphone in because I know it's a little easier for you guys to hear me. When the heat comes on, there you go. When the heat comes on, all that stuff, I know it's easier for you to hear me with the headphones in. Hi. I was doing really good. I had some really good days. I really did. About a week's full of really good days. A little bit more, actually, probably. But then the bottom fell out. I realized, though, that even though today doesn't seem like it's starting off to be a good day, I have been watching a lot of positive people. People remind me of how I used to be. Or at least I felt. Sorry. And they reminded me of how important it is to share even when you're not doing great. Because I know for a lot of people who've reached out to me that I have been a positive influence in when they were getting over a hard time or getting through medical treatments or illness or death or loss of somebody or loss of home or independence. And there's a lot that we go through, and I don't want to not be here for you. In fact, I'm still messaging and responding to the messages. It sometimes takes me a little longer than it used to because I'm finding myself more and more every day participating in mindless activities to keep my mind from going into a gray area. I don't mean gray like between black and white. I mean like cloudy gray. I know that the weather across the country has been really rough for everybody. I guess except Florida. But please be safe. I ask everybody, please be safe. It has been exceptionally cold here. And I know in many areas it's your first milestones of many things that are the firsts. Basically, there's first major snowstorms, first major ice storms in like 100 years or whatever. And we've seen a lot of stuff about Texas losing many places losing power and being cold, and there are some survival tips. There are some if you have gas appliances, you could put the largest pot of water on the stove that you have and just let it boil all day. Just keep watching it, make sure that the water doesn't go down. That adds warmth. Bake something, turn your oven on, crack it open. I know that it's technically not really the safest thing. Don't do it if you have children or a stove on the ground, but we used to have a wall oven, a double oven, and My dad, we would just run it and just crack the door. These are just some tips we learned too when we were on hard times and when we had heat issues or in cold weather. If you have radiated heating elements on the floor, especially if you're in a place that they probably don't have radiated heating. But if you're in a place that, if you're new to a place that has radiated heating, make sure you clean your radiators. You should do this in the beginning of the winter time, because if you get dust and debris in the coils, it kind of works as an insulator and doesn't let the heat out. So every like autumn, we would go in with the vacuum with the little brush attachment and clean out, sweep underneath it and clean out in between the, you know, things. If you have just electric everything, I'm so sorry. Sometimes it's just good if your car is parked outside to make sure that your tailpipe is clear of snow and ice, and then just go out, run out, start your car, turn on the heat. It's good for your car for it to run in the cold weather to like warm it up so its fluids and stuff don't freeze in place. But it's also good for, then you can get in and sit in it and just warm yourselves back up again. Charge your phones. Some people, modern TVs have, modern cars have TVs in there for their kids. They can watch if they have no electricity in their house. I know this has probably all been talked about before. I'm just going through all the things that I can think of when we've had loss of power. If we ever lost power in the winter time, there's obviously, normally it's cold enough for you to use outside as a refrigerator to keep your milk, you know, and that kind of stuff. If it's below 44 degrees outside, put your refrigerator stuff in a cooler outside, so it doesn't freeze. Your freezer stuff could probably just go outside. If you have a gas, like a propane barbecue, it's a great way to cook. You can put pots on there. Just be mindful that the handles hang over. You can fry on there. If you put like, if you have like a cast iron skillet, those are great. Cast iron grill plates, those are great. You can make pancakes and stuff. It's just, I'm in survival mode. I know we're all in survival mode. I don't know why I started off with this, but I feel like the message today was going to be that feel like 2020 has just been surviving. For me, it's just been the last half of 2020 that's been just surviving. I actually was fortunate enough to live the first half of 2020 because I lived in a region where we weren't as affected as other parts of the country were. But then things, after my brother passed, things started to get pretty bad here as well. So we quickly kicked into survival mode. But that's part of like why a lot of people are having trauma right now, is because we're not living, we're not doing the things we are as human beings, mostly, because obviously there's exceptions to every rule, but as human beings, we are social beings. We have positive not biometric, but yeah, I get, maybe that's right. But there is a biology to human interaction. You know, it's not just like we share energy, which is part of it, but it's more like the feelings that you get off of people, being around people, that comfort you get. Even people who are like introverts, you know, usually have their core people that they like to be around, that like to share their time with. And a lot of us just aren't able to do that because of the situation in the world. I hope that if you're hearing this and you've had the opportunity to get the vaccine, that you've gotten the vaccine. I did not get my first dose of the vaccine. I'm eligible for it, but they're basically just doing like day 1 is this day, day 2 is this day, and day 2 is like my follow-up for my doctor appointment. I don't want to miss that. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't take the first dose when this round came around, because I didn't want to be missing my second dose. You know, you have to have your second dose within 30 days. So hopefully, Mom did get it. Mom did get her first dose. So Jim, it's so weird, I have to tell you, Jim is not eligible. This is the most bizarre thing. So phase 1, phase 1B, which is what I fall under. I fall under tier 1 of 1B. Phase 1B, tier 2. No, tier 3. I'm tier 2. No, I don't know. I don't know. I'm in there somewhere. But Jim is like a food worker. However, food workers at factories, at retailers, grocery stores, convenience stores, those people are eligible. Jim won't be eligible till phase 2, which to me is so bizarre, because like the girl who scans your box of Cheerios, she can get the vaccine before Jim, who handles the food that you're about to put in your mouth. I know that sounds like apples and oranges, or maybe it's oranges and tangerines. I don't really know. But the fact that like you're the person who's getting you your food that you're going to take home and cook and wash and clean, you know, you can't wash your barbecue before you put it in your mouth. You just have to take the food and put it in your mouth. So it, to me, is just weird. It's like they feel like they skipped over the important people. And what was really funny is that in that same tier 3 is IT workers. So people who like work with computers. Now, I do understand for the information technology, we need to keep going. The infrastructure needs to keep going. But to me, when you sit back and look like a guy who works with computers all day, as opposed to my husband who interacts with the public and their money and hands them their food, no. So I think there's something lost in the disconnect here. So I'm hopefully getting it soon. The next time they come around, they'll have other opportunities, and I have to go look at the calendar again. But it's just a really important thing to do. We all want to get back to some semblance of a normal routine, the best that we can. And by us all getting vaccinated is really the only way that we're going to do it. I know that vaccines have been politicized. I know the coronavirus has been politicized. So of course, vaccines have been politicized, but it's just really important to realize that it's science, it's medicine. This isn't a virus, this isn't an antiviral vaccine that they came up with in 8 weeks. Because if you do know or don't know that the coronavirus is a type of virus, where we call this coronavirus, but coronavirus is a type of cell. It basically it looks like it has a crown on it. But if you remember MERS and SARS, those were coronaviruses too. And then the vaccine research that had done over the last how many years since MERS started. I think MERS was before SARS. I'm pretty sure. And if you don't know, MERS stands for Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome. But I'm 99% sure that's what it stands for. I know the ME is Middle Eastern. I think it's Respiratory Syndrome. It could be. And then SARS is South Asian Respiratory Syndrome. I'm pretty sure that that's what the RS stands for. So this is another SARS. They call it SARS-2. A lot of times you might hear it SARS-2. Its clinical name is COVID-19 because it was a coronavirus disease that was found in 19. So they have been working on coronavirus vaccines for years. They've just taken it over the course of since like when research started in like February last year, which is like a year now. They've just taken it and they've genetically made it so that I guess genetically is the right word, but they've manipulated it so that it will work for this particular strain of the coronavirus COVID-19 strain. So it's not something they threw together in 2 minutes. It's not something that hasn't been well tested. Obviously, any medication, anything that we put in our bodies or on our bodies, certain people can have certain reactions to. But are you never going to give your child peanut butter because the chance that they might develop an allergy to peanut butter? I mean, that's up to you, of course, but you know, if you watch The Boy in the Plastic Bubble, it ain't a fun way to live. You don't have to. So most of us live somewhere between, you know, jumping off of buildings and living in a plastic bubble. So obviously that's important, but you know, to stop the spread of basically, I think the coronavirus vaccine or this COVID-19 vaccine is actually going to prevent you from having symptoms. I don't think it prevents you from like absorbing I'm pretty sure that's what I heard, but don't quote me on that. I think that's what I heard from the scientists or whatever. Boy, we've gotten off into a little. I was gonna talk a little bit about sometimes I'm just sad, and the doctor gave me medication so I don't cry as much, which is great, and the sadness isn't debilitating. I can get through the sad moments quicker and easier because they're not debilitating, but they're still there. And my mind sometimes, I don't realize my mind has wandered until it's time to reel it in. I feel almost like it's fishing. I don't know if you guys have ever gone fishing. I've only gone fishing a handful of times. But you reel out your line and you slowly reel it back in until you get a fish and you get a bite and it grabs hold and it starts shaking your line and you can feel it. And that's when it's time to start reeling it in. But all those other times when you don't catch anything, you just keep keep casting it out and reeling it back in slowly and casting it out and reeling it back in slowly. Only those times when I catch myself lost in a rabbit hole. This is the only thing I could think of. Then I can pull myself back out. But there are times that I'll realize after the fact, once I've caught the fish, I realize that I was down that rabbit hole for hours and I didn't even realize it. So it's hard. I mean, it's very difficult. I hurt my back, which I think I mentioned in a vlog already, because that's what Lisa said she heard. It's so weird. I mean, I'm still doing my stretches. So if you don't have back issues, and I've never had back issues before like that are permanent or long lasting, or whatever I'm trying to say. So when I have back issues, or when I used to get back cramps, I would stretch it out. So basically just spread my legs and just drop my hands down to the floor and just like hang. That's what I would do. That's the way my body's built. I can do that. And it usually stretches out the muscles that are tight and that are causing the discomfort. And then I slowly roll back up. Well, this particular backache, by the time I get to about here, it starts to move down into like my hip pain almost. Like, it doesn't hurt, like, but then it starts to, it's the best way I could describe it. I mean, I still then go ahead and stand back up again. But, you know, I do know that really I haven't done my much exercise at all, like hardly at all. I think I had a couple of 2 days where I did a couple of 2 days. Drink some more coffee, Jerry. I had a couple of good days where I was doing like my chair yoga, or the beginning stages of it, because like when you first start it, you don't do like a whole routine. They tell you to start a couple of stretches here and there and there. But I would tell you, like, my core feels really weak, which isn't good, because your core does like your digestive system and everything, like holds you up, keeps you strong, keeps you straight. But I just feel like, because that's how I feel. I just feel like, I want to cut my hair for the first time ever. I found this really cute haircut, and I think that I talked to Jim about it, and I wanted to go really short for the first time. I mean, I'm over 50. I know a lot of women get to a certain age and they're like, I just want it to be easier to take care of. It's time to cut it anyway, because the ponytail, like, when it takes so, here's how I determine it. When it takes like, okay, let me do it so I can tell you what I'm talking about. And I'm sorry it's not brushed. Forgive me for having the bald spots or whatever's happening here, and now the static cling. So it's super long, and it's not like down to my butt or whatever, but so with me, if I can do like this, just one turn, and it's a messy bun, then that's good. But this particular hair is so long that I have to do 2 turns. So it's kind of like, I'm probably just making it all worse, right? And, oh look, messy bun. I'm just kidding. I have like no hair. So this is it. This is the perfect example. Whether I fished myself out or not, if something makes me laugh, I still laugh, and it's so, and I try so hard to put on the things that make me laugh. I put on the things that bring me joy. I continue to do the things that bring me joy. That is from other people. So I watched the TV show. Excuse me. Excuse me. I watch the TV shows that are like comedies and, you know, lighthearted stuff. I watch, you know, I watch funny people on YouTube and funny people on TikTok and funny people on Instagram, because I love to laugh, and I know laughter is the best medicine, and it will heal me. It's just, I'm not creating the joy. I'm finding the joy. I'm living the joy. I'm searching everywhere for the joy. I'm just not creating the joy. Mary, if you're watching this, maybe we could work on a t-shirt. No, I'm kidding. Instead of choose joy, it's like create joy. Because I'm choosing it I'm just not making it, if that makes any sense. Which I feel really bad for, because I know that so many of you have reached out to me because you guys turn to me for that stuff. And I'm not there right now. And I wish I could show you around the room, because it's a freaking disaster again. It's not, Jerry, stop being negative. It wasn't negative. We moved the file cabinet out, and all he did was move everything over there to move the file cabinet out. He put anything away, which he said he was going to do today. Today's his day off, and he said he's going to do today. He said we're going to work in here today. The other thing is, when I did the flower organization, I had the IKEA the plastic bag holder on the side of my flower cabinet with the tall flowers in it for over a year, but I think I overstuffed it, and I came in one day and it was on the floor. So him and I have talked about like possibly hanging it on the wall, because then you could screw it in and you can do whatever you want to it. And then we also talked about possibly making it like, I don't really want to E6000 it to the thing, because if someday I want to use this in a different room, and I don't want to, like, what will happen if I go to tear it off or whatever. So we talked about a few different things that we can do with it differently, but right now it's laying on the floor with some storage items. And this has become his landing ground for what he doesn't know where it goes. He just throws it in here, and that's not fair to me. And then he gets on me like, why am I not making money like I used to? And he knows why. I don't mean that. He doesn't say, why aren't you making money? He's like, we've got to get you back to work so you can make money. I'm like, well, stop making it harder for me to get back to work. Like, you're actively making it more difficult for me to come in here and be creative. So stop doing that. These are just 2 pieces of fabric that I found remnants at Walmart that we used for Christmas tree skirt this year. So I'm just going to roll them back up while I talk to you guys. We have, I didn't film some organizational videos. Like when Emily and I purged the Christmas stuff, we didn't film that. Excuse my back. And I didn't film purging the autumn stuff either. Even though I thought I filmed purging the autumn stuff. Let me look back in my footage. I really thought I did. I gave away bags and bags. I still have tons of stuff because autumn is like, I've mentioned this before, with all the pumpkins. And first of all of the autumn, but all of the pumpkins are huge and they take up a lot of room. The different signs that they come out with that are really nice. All that stuff takes up room, more room than just like wooden signs, you know, type of thing. So, look, I did something. Yay! I worked. Yay! Forgive me. I created joy. Yay! I made myself smile. Oh boy. I wanted to give a shout out to Melissa at 4 Quarter Crafts, because the last time I talked about in the organizational video, like, what do you do with this random mop head? And she goes, what? You don't have a spot for random mop heads? Melissa, I love you. Thank you. I'm gonna open my brand new Sure Bonder glue gun, cordless, that I got for Christmas and haven't opened yet. It is a full size. It does hold full size sticks, which I'm not crazy about, but we're gonna go ahead and use that. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I thought I sent a link to a mini, but can't even, oh, back there. I was like, whoa, dual temp glue gun. full size. Actually, it holds mini sticks. So what do they mean full size? Wait, hold on. Is it mini sticks? Oh no. Oh wait. No, those are full size sticks. Oh well. Cordless. So you charge it with this little thing, and then it's cordless and it stands. What? But I have this little thing here that I've created to put my glue gun and glue sticks in. I'll put the cord here. I actually should put the cord over here by where the cords are, but I'm just gonna keep that information. I don't know if you guys do this, and it kind of drives Jim crazy sometimes, but then sometimes when we need them, he's grateful. But I always keep original packaging for 90 days, in case you have to return it to the store, which a lot of times they tell you, don't take me back to the store. So I'll read the directions. My garbage is over there, so I'm like tossing to my garbage. Okay, we're good. I need a tissue. I don't have any tissues. I might have to end the vlog because I think I have to go blow my nose. Oh, here's a tissue. Oh, you know what I have? Duh. 95 little packages of tissues. I don't want to blow my nose. I just need to wipe it. Okay. Okay. Now. To the garbage. Okay, now. I miss being creative. I had so many cute ideas for Valentine's Day. In my head, not in my heart. Part of it too is that we didn't really decorate for Valentine's Day because it took us so long to put away Christmas. Jim is taking a lot of extra effort to care for me, and he was caring for Mom while she was sick because I couldn't really care for her. Excuse me. Oh goodness. My nose is itchy, and I don't blame him. I blame myself really. It's one thing that's really hard for him to understand from time to time. Like, it builds up to be like this resentment thing. And I try to tell him, I'm like, I hate. Like, I hate. And I don't like the word hate. There's no human being I hate. There are things, there's nothing that I hate, or I'm mostly things I just dislike. There's a difference to me. Hate is like despise. The only thing that I hate is that I cannot do stuff for myself, by myself anymore. I hate that. And for some reason I think that from when we were first married, I think he gets this idea that I'm lazy. Like, I really think he has that idea that I'm lazy. And, he saw me work when he was volunteering. He used to come to work with me at the group home. But then the rest of the time, he really never saw me at work. He never really saw me for extended period of times at the day program. He never really saw me at work in any of the other group homes, except the one we lived in and the ones he used to come and volunteer at. But I sometimes feel like he thinks that I'm very lazy. I do work smarter, not harder. So even now, like having limitations and such, when I get up, like when he's not home, that's perfect to say. Or if I'm doing something for myself, I will multifunction the heck out of that. Like, say when it's time for me to make my lunch, I will make my lunch, make my second cup of coffee, make sure I fill my water, make sure I get dessert, make sure I go to the bathroom, make sure I check the mail. And I know that's a lot to put into one thing, but I know that once I sit back down again, all bets are off. So I do that. That's how I care for myself when I do stuff for myself. Same thing like when I'm going to cook French toast. So I used this as an example yesterday. So when I'm going to cook French toast, I go start at the cabinet where I get out the French toast bowl. And I know that sounds silly, but my mother-in-law's mother-in-law had this really great, like sort of like a small serving bowl, but it's shallow. So it's just great for doing French toast in. And it doesn't have a ridge in the bottom. It's nice and smooth in the bottom. It's really good French toast bowl. So I'll start at that thing. I will get 3 plates to eat on. I will get a plate for the bacon or sausage or both if we're having both. Depends on what we're having with it. I will go into the drawer and I will get a small fork to mix my egg mixture, 3 forks and 3 butter knives to eat with. Then I will move over to the spices and I'll get the vanilla and the cinnamon. I'll get the cooking spray. And so far all of this is going in the bowl. If we are having bacon, I will get the grease cup. So basically there's a blue, especially these blue enamel cups that my dad always used for grease. That's what I use. So I'll get the grease cup. Then I will go to the refrigerator and I'll get the eggs and the half and half, which most of the time I use half and half in my French toast. So I'll get the eggs and the half and half. And then if I'm making bacon or if we're making sausage, it's just brown and serve, but we do it in the microwave. So we don't take that out yet. I'll get the plate ready and I'll put it on the stove, but I won't take the sausage out. But I'll get the bacon. If the bacon's a new package of bacon and I know it's a new package of bacon, I'll grab a scissor and a Ziploc bag to put the rest of like just really paper towels to dry the bacon on, blah, 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 blah. Go back around, get the bread. Like this is how I do it when I'm doing the cooking. When Jim is helping me. And this is not a complaint. This is just why it works or doesn't work for us at times. So when Jim is helping me, he's like, let me help you. Or I'll say, honey, I really can't cook today. I have no energy left or whatever. He's like, well, I'll help you. Okay, that's great. So then I can sit and do things. The thing is, Jim, it's okay. I'm not complaining, but Jim doesn't do multi-steps very well. And a lot of men don't. It's just, read Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. I've never read it, but I've seen some highlights and it's kind of one of the things too. So he doesn't do multi-steps very well. So I have to talk slowly, which it's not about Jim, but I just have to talk slowly and I give like one instruction at a time. However, then he wants to move fast from time to time. So I'll say to him like, all right, open the cabinet and get out the blue serving bowl of your grandma's. And then he'll start to close the cabinet. Like, no, wait, 2 small plates and 3 large plates. And then he'll be like, how many small plates? How many large plates? Because sometimes when he gets multi-step instructions, or if I say, no, then his brain like fogs up. And so it's kind of like this real delicate balance of how to talk. Then I'll say like, open the drawer and get out 1 small fork and 3 large forks and 3 butter knives. And then from there, then he'll want to bring it to me, because then he doesn't feel as confident carrying lots of things at once, which is fine. But then he's having to work harder than me, which of course then makes him tired and makes him feel like I'm running him ragged, which it's hard because I don't want to be doing that. I am so grateful. I was just about to cry because it really is a lot. I am so grateful that I can still do all the things that I can do. I am very blessed to have him, and I say thank you to him all the time. I know that we've talked, some of us have talked before about, I say please and thank you every time, and I know that some of you had suggested that maybe I say it too much, that it's fallen on dead ears. But I talked about it with him the other day and I said, do I say please and thank you too much? And he's like, no. I was like, but do you understand how grateful I am? And how begging isn't the right word, but I can't think of the word. When you want to say please, like, please get me a glass of water. While you're up, please get me water. It's so hard to try to express how much it means to me, but also how hard it is for me to have to ask. So the please is really like, please. I want to say I'm begging you, but I'm not begging you, please. Anyhow, so I said to him, I'm like, you know, if I don't say please and thank you too much, please understand that when I say it, it's not an automatic response. It's not automatic. I mean it. It's not just have it. I mean it. When I tell you guys in the comments that I love you, I mean it. It's not just like a talk to text type situation or an autofill or whatever. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I mean it. I mean those words. I won't say them if I don't. I don't gain anything from saying. He asked me the other day, he's like, I was like, I can't do this. And he's like, you can't do it or you don't want to do it? And I was like, what? Like, it really caught me off guard because I really didn't know what he meant. And he's like, or you really just can't do it or you just don't want to do it? And I was like, Jim, what in God's green earth would give you the idea that I don't want to do something to care for my family? I told them before, all I've ever wanted to be since I was 18 years old was a mother and a housewife and a mother, like a wife and a mother. That was it. Like career day at school, in high school, whatever. You know, what is your aspirations? You're going to go to college? And I'm like, I don't know. I really just want to, like, have family. So what in all of us knowing each other and all of our time together makes you think that I don't want to do this? I don't know. I really don't. So it is what it is. It's, you know, he's having a rough time. When he has a rough time at home or work with his mom or with work, I know that I'm on the end of it. It's really hard now to be on the end of it. I've been on the end of it for so many years where, you know, I don't want to say I'm his punching bag, maybe more like an emotional punching bag. Jim's never really physically violent. It's not like that. He talks a big game, but I just had a fuzzy in my mouth and I don't know from when or from where. He talks a lot of smack, but really he's a puppy dog. But when he is having a rough time of it at work or with his mom, I do receive a lot of extra grief. He came home the other day and he was so angry about what happened at work, and I felt immediately responsible. Like, what did I do? And I had to go in and he's like, just leave me alone. I was like, okay, but just please tell me that this isn't something that I did. And he was like, no. And I was like, okay. And then he was like, it's everybody, it's everything. I was like, oh, so I am in part of that. But then after talking to him, I realized it didn't have anything to do with me necessarily. Maybe the fact that I don't want to sell all my stuff and move away is my fault. I don't know. But that being said, so basically a rough day at work. So today we're supposed to come in here and work on this disaster area a little bit. I got to figure out what to do with some things that I just don't know at this point. But we're doing a lot of rearranging, purging in all the different rooms. We did some in the dining room. We've already done the living room. Even though the living room's not getting rearranged. I have the dining room video footage to show you guys on my main channel. I just have to edit it. I was in a great place while we were filming it and sort of lost it a little bit right after. So just things, you know. So that's it. I love you so much. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. And I am so sorry that I haven't been here for you. But I am so thankful that you've been here for me. Not gonna cry. As always, you guys take care. God bless. And we'll see you next time. Bye.